Well, there may be lots of great politicians around whose biographies I've read. I have to say that it's quite clear to me that it's my father who was the greatest influence on me in terms of my politics. He was a Conservative MP for 18 years, from 1964 through to 1983. He was always a backbencher. He never became a minister. But what took him into politics was a desire for perform public service. He was a moderate conservative. He'd been brought up as a posthumous child. My grandfather was killed during the First World War at the Battle of Ypres. He was brought up in quite difficult circumstances as a consequence. He went to university. He served in the army during the Second World War. And the consequences of the Second World War were to make him absolutely committed to the idea that Britain should participate fully in Europe. So he was, in the 1960s and early 70s, a great promoter of our joining the EEC. And he was also, as a lawyer, a great believer in promoting human rights and the rule of law. And I have to accept that this has had a marked influence on my life. He didn't try to persuade me to go into politics. On the contrary, I think my decision to go into politics was made quite independently of him from my own experiences in the 1970s at university. But although I differed with him on some topics, I have to say that the underlying way in which he saw the country and its future and his patriotism, and the fact he had a rather romantic view of the UK, probably a little too romantic actually, a little bit rose-tinted spectacles of some aspects of our national life. But for all that, that's what animated him, that's what really made him tick. And he gave that to me. So if I had to find an influence as to the way I've tried to conduct myself in politics, it's undoubtedly him. There are other people who've also influenced me, sometimes rather obliquely. Ken Clarke has become a very good friend, even though over years I differed with him on some issues. And I've admired him very much for his absolute robustness. But as I say, despite the fact that I can see many politicians who had high profile and admirable qualities, I think ultimately it comes back to my father.